Legal Mindset said he. Did he do something recently? Oh, he did something for fucking Vitaly. Oh shit. Okay, let's do Vitaly and then.
Hey everyone, Legal Mindset here. Wanted to give you an update on the Vitaly situation because we have some new news. Of course, I'm on vacation, but because that's something that Vitaly and Somali
Mr.
cannot do at all right now, I
Lawyer
figured
and
it's a
doing
good time to
vacation
give a
things.
quick update, especially since there's a little bit of misinformation out there and also some new news to update people on, which I've just come into possession of today. So I can now disclose to you more information about Vitaly, some of which I've been holding on for a while, some of which I've been, keeping in the pocket, and some of which came out today. So, of course, Vitaly is still in the Philippines. He has not been deported to the U.S. or to Russia or really to anywhere pending his trial, which is expected to take 2 to 3 years to get to the trial, at which point he will be sentenced. The expectation is at least a couple years. Now, some people have said it could be up to 31 years. I don't think that's going to be the case. I, in fact, think that it'll be a smaller amount of time, a lesser amount of time. However, I think it will be a significant amount of time. I don't think it's going to be, 6 months. I think a year, 2 years, 3 years would be enough, particularly since he was pending, 2 years in jail and another year or two. I think that would be sufficient, but we'll see what he ultimately gets. So a lot of people have been talking about potentially delivering food to Vitaly, saying that they're going to bring him food, they're going to hook him up. That is absolutely not happening. I can confirm that Vitaly is not getting food runs from supporters. There are some crazy supporters out there that do indeed support Vitaly, despite all of his insanity. But he is not getting food. There's a lot of reasons for that. First of all, his antis, his haters, could bring him tainted food. And if they just allowed any food by, well, then he could get poisoned. And, of course, they're not going to be able to test the food. They can't run tests on every
Wait, people are trying to buy him food through the jail system? You can't do that. What?
piece of food, every sandwich, every
Yeah,
burger.
they're not. What? Huh? No, they're going to make him the food because they know what they're making, and they're not going to allow some fucking weirdo from the outside fucking. What? Who thought of that shit?
Burger, every piece of spaghetti or Jollibee that gets brought into Vitaly. So because of that, and because they can't really do anything to test that, they are absolutely not allowing food to be brought in, and that's something that is not happening right now. If it does change, or if there's some sort of circumstance that we get knowledge of,
Yeah,
we'll
why
let
would
know,
you
but
allow
that is
people to
not
bring in food?
happening as
What
of
if
date.
they're trying
The
to
other
like,
thing is Vitaly is
right,
having a really
sneak him
bad
some
time in
shit?
prison. I can now
Drugs
tell you
or
that he is
something,
having
right?
reactions. He is having arrhythmias. People are speculating in the prison this may be
In terms of
withdrawal,
security,
whether
that's
that's
the. In terms of the whole security thing, that's a bit. You cannot be doing that. That's security risk.
from drugs or steroids or whatever else, but he is having severe
And I'm not
or
even that
intense health
fucking
issues,
right.
which we're going to
I'm not an
follow up on,
expert
but
in
they're not going
security,
to
and I know
release him for that or taking care of that in the hospital.
it's like
He's of
you
course
can't
not
be
going to
doing
die.
that
He'll be
shit.
fine.
People
But
can sneak
he's not
shit in.
going
People
well
do
in jail.
that.
So it may be
People
that he
do that
was
already
on
in our own jail
substances or
system.
hopped up
Come
on some
on.
sort of steroid or something
Yeah,
else that
fucking
was changing
shady
his brain
fucking shit
chemistry, and just
happened.
making
Just
him
look
enter,
at how Epstein
demon
fucking hung
time or
himself.
go
Like,
crazy.
what the fuck?
We're going to have to see that
He
as it
fucking
goes,
died
but of course I'm
somehow.
going to keep you posted on all
But it was
updates with
maximum
Vitaly, whether
security
that's the
prison
court
where he
case,
was
whether
being
that's his
watched
health, the
24/7,
jail.
yet the
And
cameras
we're
were
still working on
magically
to see
out.
if we can get some footage from inside the jail. If we can do that,
Uh-huh.
that'd be great. I
Uh-huh.
also will have an interview on Friday. I'm not sure when it'll be published, but I'll be doing it on Friday with Eric with a big media account. So we'll be giving you updates from that as it goes. Until then, guys, catch you next time.
Man, some people are so fucking stupid. Apparently, they don't know how crime happens. Oh man, yeah, and they're not gonna allow that to happen. That's a big security risk. All right, here we go. Let's take a look at this fucking dumbass. Oh man, he's gonna go to the cabbage farming arc, and he's gonna have some great old. Oh, he's gonna have a fun
Hey, what's up,
time.
guys? We're here. So it's here me once again talking about Ramzi Khalid Ishmael, better known as Johnny Somali, the
Yep.
world's most
We're
pathetic
gonna take a
nuisance
look at
streamer, which
this
is
fucking
a
retard.
long-winded way of saying pathetic squared. Now, why are we talking about him once again today? Well, it's
Yeah,
been about a
I do
month
the
and a half since
retard
the last
finder on
video we
stream.
made
It's
on
fun.
this individual, and a lot has happened, especially given the fact that his next proceeding is happening in only 3 days on May 16th. During the time between our last conversation about him and now, a lot has happened, including new charges, potentially decades in prison, and a lot of angry people
Oh
in
yeah,
South Korea preying
he's
on
pissed
his
off a lot of
downfall.
people.
Now, here is the very rough timeline of events to get us back up to speed here. So basically, this nuisance
I mean,
streamer
it
Johnny
just,
Somali
right. Not only that, but it just makes right IRL streamers look bad too, because you got a bunch of copycats who are ruining it too for everyone too.
goes to South
Yeah.
Korea, disrespects Korean culture,
This is what people
violates
wanted,
a
right?
bunch of
To
their
ruin it
laws.
for everyone.
Eventually, he goes to a proceeding for 3 charges he's facing. He pleads guilty to all 3 of them, but unbeknownst to him, a 4th charge had been added shortly before that proceeding, which him and his public defender were not aware of, and they asked for additional time to deal with that charge, and they were granted that. And during that extra time, a 5th charge was added involving deepfakes, which carries a maximum sentence of 10 years in prison. And that's where we left off last time about a month and a half ago.
Oh
And since
no,
then, a lot
yeah,
has
it's been
happened. So,
updated because he
beginning
keeps
with
getting
this,
himself into
the
shit.
Korean media is very
Yeah, I
interested
think the
in this,
Korean
and why
government
wouldn't
is
they
just
be,
like
right?
finally
There's
fed
this
up with
foreigner
them
who comes in, disrespects their culture and their laws,
because he
and
keeps
has had
stacking
a
up
very
his fucking
flippant and
charges like a
disrespectful
dumbass.
attitude and has doubled down on everything that he's doing. You can see major news outlets making articles and showing up at some of the proceedings, like the Korea Times, for example, who talks about his self-inflicted backlash he's facing. And you also see them sharing this right here. This is a post sharing a PayPal from Hank, who is a Korean that Johnny Somali is very close to. Hank is pretty much his babysitter slash sugar daddy, who not only houses Johnny Somali, feeds him, he also spends every waking moment of his life attached to the hip with Johnny Somali, and he's also bankrolling, including hiring a private attorney on top of the public defender that Johnny Somali was issued originally. And now Hank is broke. The money has dried up, and he's asking people to give him more money so he can keep Johnny Somali fed and keep him from starving. That's how pathetic things have gotten. Now, another update, this time involving a different fundraiser, one that a lot of people supported. Do you remember Dalgun? He is the Korean Navy SEAL who found Johnny Somali in public and, of course, knocked the daylights out of him. He put him to sleep. He hit him in the face with one punch. He bloodied him. And unfortunately, he was arrested as a result of hitting Johnny Somali and was fined an equivalent of 7,000 US dollars. Now, there was a PayPal that was floating around to cover that. That was something that Legal Mindset was sharing. And eventually, you can see down here, content creator and veteran Donut Operator saying he would pay that fine, responding to the post we just saw from Dexerto. And after talking with Legal Mindset and figuring out the remaining balance on his fine, he came through and provided $4,000
like 7,000
to
total.
that fund to make
people
sure
raised
that the
like
fine was
3,000.
paid. This is a great
paid
situation,
the
great results, and a lot of people are very happy about what happened
a nice
here.
Guy.
Now, the next thing to happen was a very disturbing one, but not too unsurprising given the history of Johnny Somali. So I'm not going to play this clip. I'm just going to have this paused image here because it's relevant. But Johnny Somali and Hank went on I don't know if it was Omegle or it was just another cam-to-cam website where you talk with strangers. And Johnny Somali...
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. I saw, dude, it was like a 10-minute video of them going on like some kind of like third party like streaming site or like I guess talking site. I don't know, but he was looking for like underage people to talk to and just say the most foulest shit. It was so fucking weird.
Came into contact with multiple
It was
minors
so
and
weird.
said very disturbing things, including
Yeah,
sexual
I don't know
comments
what the
he
fuck he
directed
was
towards them.
thinking.
And during this whole time, he was
Holy
consistently
fuck,
going to
man, that
Google
guy's
and
an
looking
idiot.
up the age of consent in various countries. Very disgusting stuff,
Yeah.
obviously. But given the lore of Johnny Somali, you shouldn't be too surprised. He's done stuff like this before, and it's just very creepy behavior that has really become an expectation for this man, unfortunately. Now, the other thing to happen, like I said last time, we talked about the fifth charge involving deepfakes. Well, they hit him with another round of that same charge about 2 weeks ago, which is very significant because these carry up to 10 years in prison individually. So on these 2 charges alone, if he's given the maximum sentence, these 2 alone could lead to 20 years in a Korean prison. They take this stuff very seriously. They take deepfakes very seriously in South Korea, which honestly, as they should, and it's not too surprising they're on the forefront of this because think about the Korean entertainment industry, especially something that's very digestible like the K-pop industry, right? There is a lot of money there. There's a lot of people interested in it around the world. There's also a lot of psychopaths who are interested in it and they have bad intentions, and they've been using deepfakes as a tool, whether for their own perverse reasons or to try to defame some of the talents by making deepfakes of things that they've either not said or never done in order to hurt their reputation. So
yeah, I mean, I hate to say it, but with technology nowadays and with people with AI and shit, and like people doing like cropping and all that shit, you're gonna get a lot of people doing some fucked up shit, right? I mean, you already have a lot of people searching the most foulest shit on the internet and then downloading it too. It's like, jeez.
And when it comes to Johnny Somali, there is a plethora
some
of
people
potential
are
deepfakes that could have gotten him either of these charges. He's posted deepfakes of content creators, his critics, and many others. So we've been kind of in the dark regards to which specific one was being addressed with this right here, and also with the 6th charge on the same violation of the special act right there. But during this time, an individual named Kim and their lawyer registered with the court, likely with the intention of providing testimony for the prosecution on these charges. And because of the name Kim, I mean, obviously there's a lot of Kims in South Korea, but that's the same name as the streamer who goes by the alias of Bong Bong. Now, she did a stream with Johnny Somali that was innocuous, right? They didn't do anything romantic or sexual or anything even close to that.
They just did a regular stream,
Johnny
but he made a
Somali, in
deep
his
fake,
infinite wisdom, decided to post a deep fake after their stream, using the footage from the stream to produce it. And it is a very bad look for him, given how seriously they take these related things.
Look at this. Let me show you my girlfriend. You want to see my girlfriend?
Let me show you my girlfriend.
I have a Korean girlfriend. I don't know why you guys want to attack me. Even I have a Korean girlfriend. She's a streamer.
I even have Korean girlfriend.
This is my girlfriend. I have a girlfriend. This is my girlfriend. Bong Bong IRL. I have a Korean girlfriend. Why are you attacking me? This is my girlfriend. Bong Bong IRL, that's my girlfriend. Look how she drives me around in the car. She's the one who helped me. She told me, come to Korea. Let's make a content. Look, and a romantic date together drinking wine. Look at this. I have Korean girlfriend. Look, me and my Korean girlfriend. Look.
So
this is once again another example of Johnny Somali cooking himself.
He just sounds like a retard.
He's the person
every time
who broadcasts every waking moment of his life, including every stupid thing he does, including illegal things. And they caught him.
I noticed that there's
here.
been some people who just cannot.
They got him caught in the most obvious example of him violating
just
this special act.
Putting her
he
weird,
is cooked. He's gonna have a very hard time explaining this in a court
on the internet.
But of course,
it's so fucking
there's a lot
weird.
more
I don't
to be said
understand
here.
these people.
And with these charges,
I don't
you have to look at
fucking
the
understand
totality
these people
of everything going on, because
oh my God.
we're focusing a lot on 5 and 6, But what about 1 through 4, including the ones he's already pled guilty to
It's
before?
like, I don't know
this
if,
stuff is starting to
they're
really
trying to
snowball into
profit
something
off
very
of
serious.
fucking
And let's
domestic
turn to
abuse
legal
or something. I'm
mindset
so
to get a
confused.
better understanding of the
so gross.
totality of all of these charges and what Johnny Somali is currently facing.
So, just to be clear, we have 6 charges that are against him right now. Now, mind you, in this last trial in March, he only was really aware of 1, 2, and 3. Now, 4 was technically filed just before his March court date, but he had no idea about it. In fact, the only reason he heard about it was from my live stream. My live stream was the only way he knew about it because he wasn't following his court case closely, and frankly, neither was his lawyer. So they were kind of blindsided by that, and they did not plead guilty or not guilty. They said, we need time to review it. And then he got hit with the deep fake before his April trial, right at the end of March. And this actually caused the public defender in that district to file for an extension to push this thing down to May. And now we have the new charge coming through here in May, the next deepfake, the second deepfake. And for this, actually, the other lawyer that he had in the Eastern District registered in the West, and his public defender was dismissed by the judge. We now have confirmation 100% that the public defender was removed by the judge, because if you have a paid attorney, if you have a private attorney, you are no longer qualified for a public defender.
So again, look at the totality of everything going on here. He's definitely in some very big trouble.
Oh,
and
yeah, he's
looking at these
he's
individually,
in the
Johnny
fucking
Somali was
chair
charged
right
with
now,
just
man.
one of these, right? He only was facing one of these
shit.
charges. He might have gotten hit with just a simple fine or something like that. But given his defiance of the court system and really just Korean culture as a whole, and also the fact that there's a multitude of charges here,
Yeah, I mean,
the
given
likelihood of the
what we
judge
just
taking
learned
some
about,
leniency on him is
about
virtually none. You'd have to assume there's
countries
virtually
and
no
their
leniency
fucking-
that's going to
the
be applied
7
here.
emotions.
And you also heard about his lawyer. Now, again, I mentioned earlier,
I don't
he
think
had a
Johnny
public
Somali's gonna have a
defender
fun time, just
given
like
to him by the court
Vitaly.
because, well, he couldn't afford it.
Vitaly's gonna have
But
a rough
Hank,
time
in his
too.
infinite wisdom, hired a private attorney. Well, you can't
Basically,
just
if any
combine these
more
attorneys, a
of
public
these
defender and a
streamers
private one.
keep
You can't
causing
just
shit,
start
oh
stacking
man,
on top of the court-appointed
they're gonna get the
attorneys.
fucking
So the
axe.
court has released the public defender from this case, and now this private attorney is
I
taking
know
over.
Ice
and
Poseidon was doing some
God
some
bless
shady
his
shit
soul.
last
He has a lot to deal with here. Not only a mess
Fucking
of
dumbass.
charges, but also he has to deal with Johnny Somali every single day, and some, again, charges that are going to be very hard to defend in court. And also, I should note, Johnny Somali has stated that if he ever got charges on deepfakes,
I think the
he was going to
fucking
fight
Logan
it,
Paul
meaning
is
he
still
was going
fucking
to take
hated in
this to
Japan
trial.
too,
That was
because
what
of
he has
his
stated
fucking dumbass
before.
and what he
And
did.
if he does that, well, it's going to drag out this entire process for a lot longer, potentially more months, even maybe another year. It could be that long, and really, it's a loss for multiple parties. It's going to be a
I mean,
loss
I hate
for
to
Johnny
say it,
Somali,
but
because it's only
there's a
gonna make
lot
things
of
worse for him.
Americans who are just
On
super
top of that,
fucking just
it's gonna make
disrespectful assholes.
Court suffer because they have to deal with him and waste resources on him, and that's going to be obviously another loss to the Koreans generally, because their taxpayer dollars are being wasted on this idiot who couldn't behave while being in South Korea. But the only people really winning are people who are covering the situation, because they're getting months more of content, and that surely will piss off Johnny Somali.
I mean, every
who's
time people
clearly
talk about
going to
him, it
cause
just
more issues.
right,
Now,
it just
you're
makes
probably
it
wondering what are the
just puts it
totality
out
of
more
the
in the
potential
on
sentences
the
here. How
internet
deep does
ways,
this
right?
all go?
The
Well,
more
we're
people
facing
talk
up
about
to
it, the more and more he gets
31
fucking
years here. If he's
upset.
given the maximum of everything, he could be facing over 3 decades in prison. That is how serious this is.
Now, if this was just one charge, I would say it's highly likely he just gets a fine. However, it's 6. And he's already pled guilty to 1, 2, and 3, which makes him a convicted criminal. He is already in the eyes of the Korean
he's
system
already a criminal
convicted
after
criminal, even if he pleads not guilty to 4, 5, and 6. So
he's gonna get
number 1 is up to 5 years. Number 4 is up to 5 years. So then we have 10. And remember, in the Korean system, they
Because he
lump
pleaded
it
guilty
all
already
together.
on those 3
They
charges.
take all the
Holy
totals and they
fuck.
lump it all together. So we got
That's
5,
why he's getting probably
10,
a lot of
and
years.
then these 5 and 6 are up to 10.5 years each. So that's 21 years for those two. So you have 21 plus 10, 5 and 5 equals 31 maximum. Now, we're not sure exactly how they're going to charge these
Not only
last
that,
two.
but he kept
They
doing
could
it like
be
back to
charged
back.
under
Like, he
a
kept
kind
getting
of
in
lesser
trouble
degree, which
back
would be
to
up
back.
to
He,
only
like, did
7
not
years.
stop.
But even then, let's say it was 7.
So
That's
it's
7
like,
and
the
7,
the
14
judge
plus
is
10,
probably not
24.
gonna fucking
That's
like
significant
this
time
dumbass.
in jail. And the funny thing about 5 and 6, the
Probably gonna
deepfakes,
fucking throw
is
the
that
book
they
at him,
carry
to be honest.
mandatory prison time. That
They are
means there is no
probably
fine
gonna
option.
throw
They
the
can't just
fucking
give
book
him a
at him.
fine. They have to give him jail time.
Legal Mindset would also note that the judge does have discretion to suspend any of these potential sentences and basically let Johnny Somali walk away. But given this set of circumstances and the number of charges he's facing and his overall behavior, that is a virtual
overall, he's
impossibility. There's
fucked.
almost
They're
no
fucked.
way that would ever happen,
They're gonna
especially
throw
given
so
some
many books at
outside
him.
forces to the amount of media coverage on this. There's no way that's going to happen. People
He's gonna
want
be
some
fucked
justice
up
here,
by a
and I
death
think that's
by
what
a
they're going to
1,000
get
books.
because this whole thing is really blowing up in Johnny Somali's face and serving the prosecution
he's gonna have
a
to work in the
very good
cabbage
opportunity
fields.
to make an example out of this nuisance streamer. Things are looking very rough. That is pretty much the update so far, keeping you up to speed on this. Of course, make sure to subscribe to Legal Mindset, who is in the forefront of covering this along Atozy and others. I'll put a link to his YouTube account in the description. Make sure to check him out. But yeah, the next proceeding for this is going to be on the 16th. It's just going to be a simple, do you plead guilty or not? Question for Johnny Somali to deal with.
Yeah,
these,
so right
additional
now
charges, and we'll see how that goes. And no matter what, I'm sure a lot of people
I can't
will be
remember
covering
if
this,
the next
including
one
myself.
is just a hearing.
So we'll
I
have to wait
forgot.
till then. But for now, that's going to do it for this video.
Oh,
As always, feel free to share
it
your
might
thoughts
be.
about
Oh
today's
yeah,
topics in the comment
they're
section down
probably
below.
just.
Hope you
It's
guys
probably
enjoyed the
just a
video,
hearing.
and I'll
It's
see you
just
next time.
pleading. Are you gonna plead guilty or not guilty? And then they'll move on to what goes after that, right? Because they have to, right? His lawyer was like, "Yeah, we got to take a look at these new charges now." Apparently, so fuck, fucker. All right, we're gonna change gears now. So, Doom. I fucking bought. I fucking caved. Okay. Thank you, Rev. If you want to check out Rev. Apparently, Hassan doesn't like Rev a lot. He doesn't like a lot of anime characters. Apparently, he wants to kill video games and destroy Animu. What a bitch! I'm just kidding. Well, I'm not really kidding. He is a bitch. Hassan's a fucking bitch. He's a piece of shit. Alright,